Hey y'all, and good now, whenever and wherever this finds you. Madden is a candidate in Vermont who's an independent. The reason I like him is because he's saying pretty much similar to what I've been saying about the Phoenix Congress and how we build a parallel system to the current government. Let's take a look at his video.
My name is Madden. I am a Marine Corps veteran who became the leader of the nation's largest anti-war organization of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. I later became an entrepreneur who co-won MIT's Solve Award for organizations innovating solutions to climate change. The key difference between me and the other candidate is that I'm the only person in this election who has at multiple times put my life on the line to be of service to the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. I believe what is more important is that I am the only person pointing out the obvious, that our economic system is driving our sustainability crisis. And creating a sustainable civilization is not just a matter of keeping everything the same and running it with solar panels. I'm also the only candidate who is saying can't have an economy premised on never-ending growth, driven by a never-ending treadmill of debt, on a planet of finite resources. Have you ever heard any of the other candidates saying this, that we can't solve our planetary crisis without evolving to a post-capitalist economy? It is simply pointing out that we must consciously evolve our economic system so that we value some things more than money, more than profit or power. Have you heard a representative of the two-party system say this? That in order to initiate this evolution, in order to build a sustainable and regenerative and just and wise economy, in order to hold as sacred what we truly care most about, we need to liberate ourselves from the stranglehold of the two-party system. I am the only one in this election who is offering practical and simple steps to do that, to rebirth our democracy and solve our most urgent challenges with structural innovations to our problem-solving capacities. But I am saying together we can build the solutions we need if we change the technology, the social processes, and the mindsets we use to solve problems. I'm also the only candidate who respects the intelligence of my fellow Vermonters, my fellow Americans, enough to not dumb down my message. I trust that the people of Vermont can understand the complexity that we need to grapple with, that we can understand that our current tool set is too limited for the challenges we face. And I trust that we have the courage to embrace reality over feel-good sound bites and symptom-level solutions. I am the only person in this election who Senator Patrick Leahy was referring to when he said, quote, "I wish the officials in the White House and Pentagon had a fraction of Liam's honesty and courage, the defining difference between me and the other candidates. Courage and honesty and root cause solutions." What I want to quickly do is explain what I mean by rebirthing democracy. If you're like me, most of the people you talk to would describe the system as broken. And we can see that there's too much polarization and animosity and division between the two parties on a lot of important issues where they won't meaningfully agree with each other, and they especially won't meaningfully take action together. What they offer as a solution to this broken system is some version of, well, yeah, the system's broken, but just help our side win. And another good definition of insanity is the list of things and areas where the Republican and Democratic parties tend to agree the most. They're unspoken agreements, like keeping the war machine well-fed and keeping billionaires happy and giving special treatment to special interests and living in the fairy tale that we can have an economy of never-ending growth on a planet of limited resources. Where the two parties agree the most is exactly where we need to question the most. And where they really agree the most is that we should keep going along with the two-party system that keeps them, their elites, and their owners in power. The root cause solution at the heart of my campaign is creating a radical improvement in the health of our ability to collectively solve problems. I call that rebirthing democracy. And this is my focus because it's a good idea to make sure our tools are up for the task of the challenge we're about to undertake. And the tools I'm talking about operate at two levels and can be summed up in 3 steps. First level is the level of the individual, on the scale of our personal lives and our daily interactions with each other. And the tools on this level are not new, but we would all agree that we must do more to master. I'm talking about strengthening our empathy, refining our ability to listen to each other, to be skeptical of our own side's assumptions and trusted experts, and most importantly, to learn to better take each other's perspectives, not just to build arguments against them, but to truly feel and understand the value in someone else's point of view. These tools are familiar, but on the other level, the level of our political institutions, our collective level, whatever you want to call it, I'd like to introduce new tools, which I'll explain in 3 steps. And what these tools are designed to do is allow the wisdom and shared values of the citizenry to be closer to the heart of political decision making. And I want to be clear, these tools are not far-fetched. They are not based on magic, and they are not even hard to understand. So what are they? Step 1, use technology to gather input from the public in real time. Not every 2 or 4 years where we're given the choice between the lesser of 2 evils. There is no reason to think that existing technology can't radically increase the frequency with which the public gives their input on matters of policy. Step 2, create a formal online forum, a democracy forum where the ideas with the greatest support, especially support from across the political spectrum, must be incorporated into policy or meaningfully acted upon by legislators. And if the support is great enough, it bypasses politicians entirely. Now, obviously, safeguards must be implemented to prevent fraud or manipulation, as must be done in any system of governance. But what steps 1 and 2 achieve is that citizens will have more power, and we achieve the opportunity for the people to generate solutions based on the wisdom of 300 million people, not just the 500 and so who hold political office. But that won't necessarily mean we are getting the most wise or loving solutions. Just because a lot of people want something doesn't mean it's a good idea. So that is why we have step 3. Build the democracy forum transparently and using the same technological power behind social media. Use the same tools currently accelerating our polarization and reinforcing echo chambers, and instead point that technology in the opposite direction. And we can employ this technology accelerating our polarization to instead accelerate compassion, our maturity, to emphasize our shared values, and to reveal solutions based on those shared values. And when we create a context based on those values or our higher angels or our virtues or whatever you want to call it, we will see that solutions can be refined and revealed that far exceed the level of support and effectiveness of the solutions produced by a system we have now, where improvement ends as soon as a majority is reached. We will see that our current problem-solving process is often premised on false choices between values like protecting the planet versus improving economic security that are not actually opposed to each other. They're not mutually exclusive. Lastly, the Democracy Forum will have another defining feature as part of step 3. It will allow people who have achieved a large amount of public trust and expertise on a given issue. Think of how different hosts on Airbnb or different sellers on Amazon are given public scores based on their performance of relevant criteria. And these citizen experts appointed by the public can have disproportionate influence in those policy areas. Now, I told you these steps would be realistic and simple to understand. And these are the steps of how we improve our ability to solve problems. But I want to conclude by reminding us about the why. The why is because the future will belong to those who most wisely use advanced technology today. And right now, as it stands, those most effectively using the world's most advanced technologies are, on the one hand, unaccountable authoritarian governments throughout the world. And on the other hand, unaccountable corporate oligarchs, mostly here at home. And if we want the future to belong to the people of this planet, then initiating a technologically empowered, yet wholeheartedly human democratic process for dealing with big, complex, and scary problems needs to be our highest priority. And with your help, we can have a future we all have a say in. With your help, we can step into the role of midwives who will bring new life through. And together we can rebirth democracy. If you are not satisfied with the feel-good soundbites and the symptom-level solutions you are hearing from the two parties' candidates, if you are willing to accept what is necessary, which is real power and real responsibility, here are some ways that you can contribute. 1, Not all progress comes from politics. Learn and refine your own gifts, your own community, and start giving them there. 2, if you'd like to support my campaign, please volunteer, donate, stay in touch, join my newsletter at rebirthdemocracy.com. You can host an event, or you can share this video on social media and tell your friends why you think it's important. And if you live in Vermont, you can vote. I am an independent, but my name will be on the ballot of both parties' primary elections on August 9th. You can go to your town clerk and you can get an early ballot. Do that. Stay in touch. Respect and gratitude.